Did you lose your parenting handbook? Are you just crazy, don't know what to do with your children? Don't know how to be a better parent? Well, you came to the right place.
Feel like you want to throw up?
Okay.
Parenthood.
Yo, why are you just standing there? Oh, sweet.
Waiting for our head to spin around.
Hello, my name is Ruben. Welcome back to my channel. This is Ruben Poon Coaching, and I am here to help you unlock your maximum potential. Today in this video, I'm going to help you unlock your potential to become a better parent. All right, so we are going to go through top 10 tips to become a better parent.
Like they say, being a parent is a full-time job, but it seems more like a horrible unpaid internship.
So the first tip is to understand that your children are unique. They are all different. Not only are they different from you, they are different from each other.
Only their mother can tell them apart. Twins.
So just because you have specific personalities, specific traits, and things, your children might not have that.
You sit on a throne of lies.
They might not even have the same things or characteristics from your spouse either. And you might just be like, where did this come from? Well, this is because they are unique people. Fun fact, interesting thing is I have the pleasure of working with identical twins. So they have 100% of the same DNA, but they are completely different. I can definitely tell them apart, and I can see that they are unique people. If you are familiar with Gallup's Clifton Strength Finders, they do not have any of the same top 5 that they share, and they only share 2 of the same top 10. They are just so unique. And if this is the case with identical twins, just think of the difference of people who are born in separate times. All right. So understand that your children, your kids are unique, and you need to treat them as individuals. All right. Tip number 2 is to look at what your children can do versus what they cannot do.
I don't think we should.
Are you a Mexican or a Mexicant?
Even think about this for yourself. Would you rather be known for the things that you cannot do or the things that you can do? You can do it! Most people would like to be known for what they can do. So help and encourage your kids in that. Show them what they can do. This will, because they need to have success in their lives, and success only comes from things that you can do. All right. This will help give them the resilience later on in life. What you're doing is helping them become the best version of themselves. This is convergence. If you've read this book from Colin Higginbottom, it's an amazing book. It basically says that success is when you find your lane, when you find out what you are put on earth to do. I believe in God, and I believe that God created each of us to do something. So success is finding out what it is that God created you to do and being the best at that. Tip number 3 is to focus on you first, then them. If you've ever been on an airplane and you hear the airline attendant and they talk about when you have the mask, you put it on yourself first and then you put it on and help someone else. You do this because you can't help anyone else unless you've helped yourself.
On your neck and yank down on the tab.
So you need to become the best parent that you possibly can be. One of the ways that you can do this is by understanding your Gallup Clifton strengths. If you've never taken this assessment, I highly recommend doing that. You can check out this link here and you can take this assessment. It takes about 20 to 30 minutes. Once you do that, you can figure out and find out how you show up best as a parent. All right. So once you've figured this out, once you have found how you show up best as a parent, then you can move on to the next tip. Tip number 4 is that sharing is caring. All right, so now that you know who you are, how you show up as a parent, and not only just as a parent, but who you are as a person, share this with your children. They want to know more about you. The amazing thing about Gallup's Clifton Strengths is that it gives you an amazing vocabulary to share things that you kind of intuitively knew about yourself, but really weren't able to put into words.
Why are you the way that you are?
This is amazing because now your children can see and have a better understanding of who you are. Of course, this is age dependent. You want to explain in a way that makes sense for them, but Do you have woo? Do you like meeting new people? Do you have learner? Do you love learning things? Do you like competition? Do you like accomplishing things? Do you like thinking about stuff? All of these things are characteristics. They are personality traits. They are things about you that it will be amazing for your kid to know about that. If you always want to get going to do things, that might help explain why you are a certain way and they might think a different way. This is an amazing life lesson to learn. And once you do this, it also opens the door for conversations for them to share the way that they think. So while you might have woo and you might love meeting new people and expanding your social circle, they might have something like relator, where they actually like deepening and having really close friendships with a few people. All right. And then when you have that, you can explain and you can understand the way that you're different, or maybe the way that you're similar. Tip number 5 is to understand the dynamic of parenting partnerships. Whether or not you have a partner, there are going to be partnerships of how you raise and parent your child.
Excellent!
If you do have a spouse or if you have a partner, then that dynamic is going to be amazing because you can build on one another. If you think about the Clifton Strengths Finders, there are 4 talent domains. There is strategic thinking, influencing, relationship building, and executing. So of these 4 domains, you need to be able to operate in all 4 domains when is needed as parents. So if you can understand what your preferred or top domains are versus your partner's domains, now you can figure out and establish a great complementary partnership. Then you can also look at the partnership of you and your children, which is going to take us to the next tip. Tip number 6 is to understand the parenting buckets. These are 6 frames or things that you do with your children. Bucket number 1 is direction. This is where you verbally express what your expectations are of your children. This could be the expectation that they brush their teeth in the morning and at night. It might be that they make their bed, they clean their room, or that they are polite and use their manners and say, "You're welcome and thank you." Bucket number 2 is concentrated time. This is time when you are spending with your child. This could be helping them with homework. It could be family dinner time. It could be listening to what your kid wants to talk about and just listening to them, hearing about their day. Bucket number 3 is celebrations. This is where you can celebrate their successes. You can provide positive experiences that spur them on. Bucket number 4 is reinforcement. This is where you give individual praise and reinforcement for things that your child does. Bucket number 5 is emotional support. This could be both physical and emotional, where you are there for them. Being available to them often means listening more than talking. Bucket number 6 is structure. This is where you can explain things like right or wrong and also provide frameworks or things that they have bounds for their behavior. Structure also means giving your children the opportunity to take responsibility for their actions, to plan and think about the future. Tip number 7 is to fuel their passion. Find out what their interests are and help them ignite that. Give them time to explore. Give them time to learn about things that they might love doing. One of the great ways that I heard to do this is to provide as many opportunities for new things as you can, but also provide a time frame for when they are expected to immerse themselves in that. So while it might be food, it might be giving them a minute to try out a new dish. It could be something like sports or music, where you say for the next 3 months, 6 months, you are going to play soccer or learn an instrument or sing. But the thing is to give them a time frame that they're expected to go through that. And then at the end of that time frame, they know up front that they can then reevaluate if they enjoyed it and want to continue, or if they want to try something different. Tip number 8, now that you've helped them explore their passions and their interests, you want to help them focus and develop strengths. If you know me, you know that I love talking about strengths. And for Gallup, a strength is talent multiplied by investment, where investment is skills, knowledge, and experience. Talent is the way that you think. It's the way that you react and respond to the world. So when helping them focus on their strengths, they are more than 3 times as likely to report having an excellent quality of life. Again, this is the way that they will figure out their lane, that they will become actually truly successful in life by learning and figuring out what they are good at, what their strengths are. Strengths provide the biggest capacity for excellence, for success. All right, tip number 9. Now that you know that you should focus on developing your child's strengths, how do you do that? Well, remember that talents are one of the components, one of the main building blocks of a strength. Well, there are 3 ways to identify the innate talents in your kids. If they are 15 or older, what they can take is the adult version of the Gallup-Clifton Strengths Assessment. So here's a link to that. You can purchase this for them and they can take the assessment. Then you can find out their top 5 and see their talent themes and share it with them. You can share, they can share it with you. You can share with yours with them, and then you can have a dialogue about this. If they are 10 to 14, they can take what's called Strengths Explorer. Here's a link to that. This is a simplified version of the adult one. Instead of 34 talent themes, there are 10 groupings. Now, if they are 9 and younger, there's no assessment for them to take, but what you are going to do as a parent is you are going to identify patterns. This is called strength spotting. There are 10 Strengths Explorer themes that you can identify in your children. So number 1 is achieving. Number 2 is caring. Number 3 is competing. Number 4 is confidence. Number 5 is dependability. Number 6 is discoverer. Number 7 is future thinker. Number 8 is organizer. Number 9 is presence. And number 10 is relating. The 10th tip is about weaknesses. All right. So we don't want to ignore them, but we also don't want to focus on them. We want to manage them. So help your child identify what their weaknesses are. These are roadblocks to success, things that hinder them from achieving success. Once you help them identify that, then you can show them that they're going to manage it. A weakness will never become a strength, but once they understand that, they know, hey, we can't just ignore that, but we also don't want to focus on it. We can help you manage it. And there were 5 ways to manage a weakness. You can overwhelm it with a strength. You can find a partner. You can develop a support system. You can become just good enough at it, and you can stop doing it. Now, if you think of these 5 ways to manage weaknesses, think about this especially as they're going to school, and figure out ways that you can help support them. For example, if they got an A in reading, but they got a C in math, then what you want to do is help them manage the math portion where they get just good enough at it so that it won't hinder them from success. I grew up in the age where we asked teachers, you're not just going to grow up with a calculator. Well, guess what happened? Everyone has a calculator with them now. All right. But so there are things that you need to manage, and there are things that you can work on. For whatever it is that they enjoy at school, let them work on that first, or work on that more. This will help provide success for them, and this will give them the confidence to either manage the weakness of a grade that isn't as good, or actually develop that and actually become better at it because they are able to work in their strength zone. All right, so those are the 10 tips for becoming a better parent. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. Please comment below. Tell me what other topics you want to hear so that I can help you unlock your maximum potential. Then make sure you also subscribe, and I will see you for the next series.